My name is Bridget Fuller and I am 32 years old. I'm standing in a ballroom with 200 guests, Italian marble under my heels, crystal chandeliers throwing light across white tablecloths, and my name card does not say my name. It says poor broke sister living off her brother. Ivory card stock calligraphy font. The same hand that wrote Mr. and Mrs. Gerald Whitfield wrote this. Whoever made this card took their time. The woman next to me sees it first. Her mouth opens. She nudges the man beside her. A giggle, then a whisper. Then the table behind me turns around and the laughter rolls out in a wave that reaches the centerpieces. 200 guests, my brother's wedding day, and Gerald Whitfield is watching me from the head table with a smile I will remember for the rest of my life. But here is what none of them knew about the woman they were laughing at. What Gerald Whitfield did next cost him more than any property he ever built. And by the next morning, every person in that room would know exactly who I am. Welcome back to calm drama stories, where real people share moments that tested their dignity and changed everything. If you have ever been laughed at by people who think money makes them better, this story is for you. Drop a comment and be sure to subscribe. Let me go back 13 years. I am 19, sophomore year at State, double majoring in business and accounting because my advisor told me that is where the jobs are. I have a 3.7 GPA, a part-time gig filing insurance paperwork, and a dorm room with a window that rattles when the wind picks up. Life is ordinary. I am grateful for ordinary. Then my phone rings at 2 in the morning on a Tuesday in October. Dad is gone. Heart attack at the warehouse where he worked the night shift. They found him between pallets of drywall. He was 44. I drive home in 3 hours. Ethan is sitting on the front steps in his pajamas. He is 11. The neighbor is standing behind him, arms crossed, already talking about who to call. Our mother left when I was 7. No forwarding address, no birthday cards, nothing. The state sends a caseworker within 48 hours. She sits at our kitchen table with a clipboard and tells me that Ethan will need to be placed in foster care unless a family member with stable income can assume guardianship. I am 19. I work 12 hours a week filing claims. I share a dorm room with a girl named Tasha who leaves her hair ties everywhere. I sign the guardianship papers with hands that have not stopped shaking in 3 days. I drop out of school the following Monday. 2 jobs. Day shift as an office clerk at a plumbing supply company. Evenings tutoring math at the community center. Ethan gets the bedroom. I take the couch. Our apartment has 1 window, a radiator that clangs at night, and rent I can cover if I skip lunch 3 days a week. I did not choose this life, but I chose him. 13 years is a long time on a couch, but here is the thing about survival. You keep going because stopping is not an option. And then one day you look up and realize you built something. Ethan graduates high school with honors, full scholarship to State, the same school I dropped out of. He studies architecture. He calls me every Sunday at 8 in the morning and we talk about nothing for 40 minutes. Those calls are the best part of my week. While Ethan is in college, I go back. Community college first, then transfer to a 4-year program. Night classes, weekend study sessions at the public library while other women my age are at brunches and bachelorette parties. I finish at 30. I pass the CPA exam on my first attempt. I get hired at Morrison & Klein, a mid-size firm, 3rd largest in the state. I am nobody's charity case. Ethan graduates at 22, gets a job at a small architecture firm downtown. We celebrate with pizza at the same kitchen table where I signed the guardianship papers. 6 months later, he calls me on a Wednesday, not our regular day. His voice is different. Bridge, I met someone, her name is Paige Whitfield. They met at a gallery opening through a mutual friend. She's 25, studying interior design. Funny, sweet, and absolutely smitten with my brother. I am happy for him, genuinely. But Paige Whitfield's last name comes with a zip code. A real one. Gated community, country club membership, a father who builds strip malls and mixed-use developments across 3 counties. The Whitfields live in a different world. Literally. I do not know yet that the Whitfield world comes with rules. And the first rule is that people like me do not belong. The first time I meet Gerald Whitfield, he does not shake my hand. He measures it. 6 months into Ethan and Paige's relationship, I am invited to dinner at the Whitfield estate. Estate is the right word. 6,000 square FT, gated entrance, a circular driveway with a fountain that I am fairly certain costs more per month in water than my rent. I wear a navy dress from the clearance rack at Nordstrom Rack. I put on my father's watch, a Timex with a scratched crystal, and a leather band worn soft from 20 years of warehouse shifts. It is the only thing of his I kept. Gerald opens the door himself. Tall, silver-haired, shoulders like a man who has never been told no. He looks at my dress first, then at the watch, his lips thin. "So what do you do, Bridget?" "I am a financial analyst at Morrison & Klein." "Interesting." He pauses. "At which firm did you say?" I repeat the name. He nods once, then turns to Diane, his wife, and starts talking about the wine. Diane is 58, blonde, meticulous. She smiles the way people smile when they are counting your flaws. "That is a lovely dress," she says. "Is it new?" Paige laughs nervously. Ethan reaches for my hand under the table. After dinner, Gerald pulls Ethan into his study. I am in the hallway pretending to admire a painting when I hear fragments through the door. "Your sister, first impression, our guests." I cannot make out Ethan's reply, but I hear Gerald's tone. The tone of a man who is not asking, he is instructing. I drive home with the Timex pressing into my wrist. Gerald Whitfield does not shake hands. He measures them. And tonight, I came up short. The engagement comes 4 months later. Paige calls me herself to share the news. She sounds genuinely excited, and I want to believe that is all there is to it. But the engagement party invitation arrives 3 weeks later, and I notice the details. Country club attire, 120 guests. The Whitfield logo embossed on the envelope. Yes, the family has a logo. I am assigned to a table near the bar, which is polite language for the back corner. Ethan is at the head table with Paige, Gerald, Diane, and a senator's wife. 12 tables between us. During the cocktail hour, Gerald works the room like a campaign rally. He introduces Ethan to every associate, every partner, every connection. "My future son-in-law, self-made, top of his class." He says it 4 times. I count. Not once does he mention who raised this self-made man while he was building class rankings. Diane finds me by the shrimp tower. She hands me a glass of sparkling water, not champagne. "Bridget, a quick note. The rehearsal dinner next spring, Gerald's associates will be attending. I hope you will have something appropriate to wear." She pats my arm. "Just a thought." I smile. I say thank you. I drink the sparkling water. That night, I sit in my Honda Civic in the country club parking lot for 15 minutes. The engine is off. The radio is off. The lot is full of BMWs and Lexuses, and one Range Rover with a vanity plate that says BLTMO. I open my laptop on the passenger seat. I create a new folder. I name it Receipts. I screenshot Diane's text about appropriate attire and save it. Then I close the laptop, start the car, and drive home 3 weeks before the wedding. Gerald makes his move. He invites Ethan to lunch at a steakhouse downtown, the kind with leather booths and $40 appetizers. Ethan tells me about it that evening while I am making spaghetti in my kitchen. Gerald offered him a position at Whitfield Properties, lead architect on a new mixed-use development in the suburbs. Salary, double what Ethan makes now. Corner office, company car. "That is amazing," I say, and I mean it. Ethan picks at the garlic bread. "There is a condition." He does not look at me. He did not say it outright. He is too smart for that, but he kept talking about focus. About how a man needs to look forward, not backward. About how my sister... Ethan stops, takes a breath. "About how you would always remind people where I came from." The sauce is bubbling. I turn the burner down. "He tried to buy your loyalty," I say. I turned it down. "Ethan, it was not hard, Bridge. It took me about 5 seconds. I nod. I stir the sauce. I do not cry because I have work to do. Later that week, Gerald's personal assistant sends me an email. Subject line, "Helpful relocation resources." Inside are links to apartment listings in Portland, Oregon, 2,700 miles from here. The implication is not subtle. I forward the email to my receipts folder. I add Diane's 3 most recent texts, the ones where she asks whether I have considered stepping back from wedding planning so the families can bond. I do not scream. I do not cry. I open the folder and I keep saving. Gerald Whitfield thinks I am a problem. He can relocate. He has not met someone who files paperwork for a living 11 days before the wedding. I prepare an envelope. Manila, 9 by 12, the kind I use at work when I need a client to pay attention. Inside, I place 4 documents. 1, a copy of my CPA license issued by the North Carolina State Board. 2, my Morrison & Klein employee badge laminated with my photo and title. 3, a commendation letter from a client whose company I saved from a $2 million audit error last spring. 4, an offer letter, promotion to senior manager effective June 1st, pending my signature. I slide the envelope into my work bag. I do not know if I will need it. I hope I will not. That Sunday, Ethan comes over for our regular coffee. He is quieter than usual. He sits on the couch, the same couch where I slept for 6 years so he could have the bedroom, and wraps his hands around his mug. I will be there, I tell him. I will smile. I will be polite. I will sit at table 14 or table 40 or wherever they put me. He looks up. But if he crosses the line in front of everyone, I am walking out and I am not coming back. Ethan sets down his coffee. If you walk, I walk. Do not say that. She's going to be your wife and you are my sister. You are the reason I had a childhood instead of a case number. Sit in the quiet for a while. The radiator clangs. Somewhere outside, a car alarm goes off and stops. I tuck the manila envelope into my clutch, the small black one I bought for the occasion. It barely fits. Just in case. I do not know I will need that envelope in exactly 11 days. The rehearsal dinner is held at the Whitfield estate. 40 guests, white linen, candlelight, a string quartet playing Debussy in the foyer. Gerald greets every guest by name. He remembers their children's ages, their vacation plans, their wine preferences. He is a man who catalogs people the way some men catalog investments, by value. When I arrive, Diane intercepts me at the door. Bridget, so glad you could make it. She leans in. You look nice, very practical. She leads me to my seat, end of the table, past the business partners and the country club couples, past Ethan's college friends and Paige's sorority sisters. I am next to Gerald's former accountant's wife, who spends the evening talking about her Peloton. During the toasts, Gerald stands. He raises his glass. To my daughter, he says, the light of this family. He turns to Ethan. And to this young man who built himself from nothing, who showed up with nothing and earned his place at this table. He does not look at me, not once. I catch a woman at the far end watching me, silver hair, reading glasses pushed up on her forehead, dark eyes that seem to be tracking something. She is seated alone. She's the only guest not laughing at Gerald's jokes. After dinner, Diane finds me in the hallway near the coat closet. Tomorrow is Paige's day, she says. Her voice is low, her hand on my elbow. Please do not make it about you. I remove her hand gently. I have never made anything about me, Diane. That is kind of the problem. I drive home. I sit in my car for 20 minutes. Engine off, lights off. The manila envelope is in the passenger seat. Tomorrow is the wedding. I know what you are thinking. Why did I not just leave right then? Because I promised Ethan I would be there. Because walking away from a rehearsal dinner is one thing, but walking away from your brother's wedding is something you can never undo. So I stayed. And what happened the next day made that rehearsal dinner look like a warm-up. Wedding morning, Saturday, 6:47 in the morning. I am standing in my apartment in front of the bathroom mirror, and the face looking back at me is tired. Not the kind of tired that coffee fixes. The kind that lives behind your eyes after 13 years of being the one who handles things. I lay my dress on the bed, navy blue, fitted, bought on sale 6 weeks ago. It is not designer. It is not borrowed. It is mine and it fits like it was made for me. I fasten my father's watch around my wrist. The crystal is scratched from 1,000 warehouse shifts, and the leather band is so soft it feels like skin. Timex, $23 at a department store in 1998. Worth more to me than anything in Gerald Whitfield's fountain 13 years since you left, Dad. Look what your boy became. I pick up the manila envelope, hold it over my clutch, put it in, take it out, put it back in. It stays. The drive to the venue takes 40 minutes. The Whitfield estate sits on 12 acres outside of town, and today it has been transformed. White tents line the garden, valet attendants in matching vests. A sign at the entrance reads, "The Whitfield Fuller Wedding" in gold cursive, although the Fuller is noticeably smaller. I park between a Mercedes and a Range Rover. My Honda Civic looks like it wandered in from the wrong lot. I check my lipstick in the rearview mirror. I check the envelope in my clutch. I check my father's watch. 8:22 in the morning. The ceremony starts at 10:00. I do not belong here. I know it. They know it. But Ethan is getting married today, and nothing keeps me from that. The ballroom is stunning. I will give Gerald that. Italian marble floors polished to a mirror finish. Crystal chandeliers, 3 of them, staggered across the ceiling like frozen fireworks. Floral arrangements taller than I am. White roses and peonies and eucalyptus spilling out of silver urns. Each table draped in ivory linen with gold charger plates. 200 chairs, white satin bows tied to everyone. I count them because that is what I do. I count things, I find my table. Table 14, last row, far right corner, 6 FT from the kitchen doors. Through the wall, I can hear the catering staff clanking trays and calling orders. Ethan's co-workers are at table 3. His college roommate is at table 5. His old little league coach, who drove 40 minutes to be here, is at table 7. His sister, the one who raised him, is at table 14. I pull out my chair. The name cards are arranged in a semicircle around the centerpiece. Everyone else's card is propped up, facing outward, the calligraphy visible from 3 FT away. Mine is face down. I look around the table. Gerald's business partner's wife. A couple I do not recognize, an older man scrolling his phone, an empty chair. Nobody at this table knows who I am. Nobody at this table was told. I reach for the name card. Ivory card stock. Heavy. The calligraphy on the back is elegant. The same script used for the invitation. The same style on every card at every table. I flip it over and the air leaves my lungs. 200 chairs, white satin bows, and mine is the one closest to the exit. I will it in about 10 seconds. The card reads, "Poor broke sister living off her brother." I read it twice. The calligraphy is beautiful. Whoever made this card used the same pen, the same ink, the same hand that wrote Mr. and Mrs. Gerald Whitfield on the head table arrangement. This is not a prank by a caterer or a mistake by a printer. This is precision. The woman next to me, Gerald's business partner's wife, glances over. Her eyes go wide. She covers her mouth, but the laugh is already out. She nudges her husband. He reads the card. He chuckles. He whispers to the couple across from them. I watch the laughter travel like a current. Table 14 sees it. Then the woman at table 13 turns around, craning her neck. Someone holds up a phone. "Oh my God." A voice says, "That is terrible." They are laughing. I stand. I hold the card between my thumb and forefinger. I look toward the head table, past the roses and the charger plates and the 200 guests in their cocktail dresses and tailored suits. Gerald is watching me. He is seated at the center of the head table. Diane beside him, a glass of Prosecco in his hand. He raises the glass half an inch, a salute, a dare, a measurement. His lips curve. He is smiling. My hands are steady. My heartbeat is somewhere around 130, but my hands are steady, and that matters because I refuse to let 200 people see me tremble. I place the card face up on the table. I smooth it flat with my palm. If you are going to shame me, have the courage to do it where everyone can see. I sit back down. The restroom has marble countertops and cloth towels folded into fans. Even the bathroom in this place costs more than my apartment. I lock the door. I press my palms flat on the counter and lean forward until my forehead almost touches the mirror. Stay or go. If I leave, Gerald wins. He gets exactly what he wanted. The embarrassing sister gone. The narrative clean. The brand intact. Ethan marries into the Whitfield name with no reminder of canned soup and guardianship papers. if I stay. I sit through my brother's wedding with a name card that calls me a parasite, surrounded by people who think it is funny. My hands are shaking now. I grip the counter edge until the shaking stops. The face in the mirror is not a woman who begs. She is not a woman who explains. She is a woman who signed legal documents at 19 and taught herself double-entry bookkeeping while her little brother did homework at the same kitchen table. I open my clutch. The manila envelope is there, pressed between my wallet and a travel pack of tissues. CPA license, promotion letter, commendation from a client who told my managing partner I saved his company. Not yet. I wash my hands. I fix my lipstick. I straighten the collar of my navy dress. Ethan is walking down that aisle in 40 minutes. If I am not in that room, Gerald does not just win today. He wins the story. He becomes the man who welcomed a poor boy into his family out of generosity. And I become the sister who could not handle it. I walk back out. I sit down at table 14. I place the name card face up, centered in front of my water glass. Someone at that table has already taken a photo of my name card. I will not find out about that until tomorrow. The ceremony is outdoors in the garden behind the estate. 200 chairs arranged in a crescent under a canopy of white fabric and strung lights. A string quartet plays as guests take their seats. I am in the 12th row. There are only 12 rows. The processional begins. Bridesmaids in lavender, groomsmen in charcoal, Paige's sorority sisters, her cousin, her childhood friend from Connecticut. On Ethan's side, his college roommate, his boss, 2 friends from the firm. No family because I am the only family Ethan has and I am in the 12th row. Then Paige appears. She is beautiful, truly beautiful in a gown that probably costs more than my car. Gerald walks her down the aisle with his chin raised, his stride measured, his hand possessive on her elbow. He is not giving her away. He is presenting her. Ethan is standing at the altar. He is wearing a tuxedo that fits him like it was sewn onto his body, and his eyes are wet and he looks like our father. The same jaw, the same quiet steadiness, the same way of standing like the ground under him is solid even when it is not. They exchange vows. Paige promises to love him. Ethan promises to love her. Then Ethan adds something that is not in the printed program. I want to thank the people who made me who I am. He looks at me, not at Gerald, not at Diane, not at the 200 guests in their designer chairs. At me, row 12. Gerald's jaw tightens. Diane reaches for her pearls. I cry quietly, happy for Ethan, proud of him, and completely, utterly alone in a garden that costs more than our childhood apartment. He is beautiful up there. My little brother. The boy I fed canned soup for dinner because it was all I could afford. Cocktail hour. The garden transforms into a mingling ground of champagne flutes and small talk. I am standing near the bar with a glass of sparkling water. The bartender did not ask what I wanted. He saw my table number and poured. When a woman appears beside me, silver hair, reading glasses on a chain around her neck. She's the one from the rehearsal dinner who watched me without laughing. I saw your name card, she says. I tense. Everybody saw my name card. My name is Lorraine Whitfield Caruso. She lets that land. I am Gerald's sister. I say nothing. She reaches into her handbag and pulls out her phone. She scrolls to a photo, not a recent one. The screen shows a faded image of a table card shot from above. The edges yellowed. The handwriting is unmistakable. Same slant, same pressure, same ink. The card reads, Gerald's embarrassment, the teacher who married down, 1995. Lorraine says, my wedding, he had these made for my place setting at the reception. Same card stock, same calligraphy pen. I stare at the phone, 30 years. Same card stock, same ink, same man. What happened? I ask. I stayed quiet. For 30 years, I stayed quiet. He told our parents I was unstable. He told his friends I married beneath me. Eventually, they all stopped calling. Her voice is even, but her hands are not. I lost 8 years with my parents before they died. I glance at my father's watch. The scratched crystal catches the garden lights. 11:47 at night, cocktail hour winding down, and a stranger just handed me 30 years of proof. I am 64 years old, Lorraine says. I have nothing left to lose, but you still have time. Do not make my mistake. Lorraine married Tom Caruso in the spring of 1995. Tom was a high school shop teacher in a town 40 miles south of here. He drove a pickup truck, wore flannel shirts on weekends, and coached junior varsity baseball for free. Gerald was 31 years old and already building his empire. His sister marrying a teacher was, in his words, a liability to the brand. He told me I was wasting my education. Lorraine says, we are sitting on a stone bench near the garden gate, away from the crowd. The music from the ballroom is a muffled hum. He said Tom would drag me down, that people would talk. Gerald started with the seating. Lorraine was moved to the back at every family event. Then the invitations stopped arriving. Then the phone calls. By the time their parents were in their 70s, Gerald had convinced them that Lorraine was troubled, that the marriage had changed her, that she needed space. I did not see my mother for the last 2 Christmases of her life. Lorraine says Gerald told her I was too busy. He told me she did not want visitors. She pauses, adjusts her reading glasses. Tom died 6 years ago, pancreatic cancer. Gerald did not come to the funeral. I let that sit. Why are you telling me this? Because you are sitting at table 14 with a name card that is not your name, and I know exactly how this story ends if you do nothing. What are you saying? I am saying I will be watching, and if you need a witness, you have one. Cocktail hour ends. The doors to the ballroom swing open and 200 people drift inside for the reception. I walk in last. Lorraine is 6 steps behind me. The reception is a production. Gerald has choreographed every detail. The lighting shifts from warm gold during dinner to cool blue during toasts. The DJ cues music between courses. The servers move in synchronized patterns like a ballet performed for rich people. I am back at table 14. My name card is still face up. No one has removed it. The woman who laughed earlier avoids my eyes now, but she has not said a word to anyone about it. Silence is cheaper than confrontation. Dinner is served. Filet mignon with truffle butter, roasted asparagus, a 3-tier wedding cake visible on a side table under a spotlight. I eat because I paid for 13 years of meals for a boy who grew up to sit at the head table, and I deserve the steak. Then Gerald stands. He clinks his glass with a dessert fork. The room falls quiet. 200 people turn their chairs toward the head table like sunflowers following the light. I want to say a few words about family. Gerald begins. His voice is warm, practiced, the voice of a man who has pitched investors for 30 years. He praises Paige, my princess, my legacy. He praises himself. I built this company from one deal, one handshake, and a belief that family is everything. Then he turns to Ethan. And Ethan, a young man who overcame circumstances. He pauses, lets the word hang. We are proud to welcome him into our family. He pulled himself up by himself. Another pause, by himself. The room applauds. 200 glasses rise. Mine stays on the table. Diane reaches across the centerpiece. She picks up my name card, flips it face down, and pats it gently. Let us not make a scene, dear. Circumstances. He said it like he was scraping something off his shoe. I excuse myself from the table. The Whitfield estate connects the ballroom to the main residence through a glass-enclosed hallway lined with family portraits. Gerald at a groundbreaking ceremony. Gerald shaking hands with the governor. Gerald and Diane at a charity gala. No photos of Lorraine. Not one. I am not snooping. I am looking for a restroom that is not full of bridesmaids reapplying lipstick. But Gerald's home office door is ajar and the light inside is on. And I stop because I see the printer. It is a wide format inkjet on a side table, the kind that handles card stock. In the output tray, there is a sheet of ivory paper the same weight, the same finish as the name cards in the ballroom. I step inside. I do not touch anything. I lean over and read. The test print says, "Poor broke sister living off her brother." Draft version, slightly different font than the final. Next to it, clipped to the tray with a binder clip, is a handwritten note on Gerald's personal stationery. I recognize the monogram. Use the same font as the others. She will think it is from the planner. He planned this. He sat at this desk in this chair under a portrait of himself shaking hands with a congressman, and he wrote instructions for my humiliation. I take out my phone. I photograph the test print, the handwritten note, the printer, and the desk. 4 photos. I do not take the paper. I do not disturb the clip. I put my phone back in my clutch next to the manila envelope. I return to the ballroom. I sit down at table 14. I place my hands flat on the tablecloth. This was not a joke. This was strategy, and I have exactly 1 hour before the father-daughter dance, the restroom again. This time I am fixing my hair when Diane walks in. She has been drinking, not stumbling, not slurring, but her edges are softer. The rigid smile has loosened into something almost honest. "You know," she says, leaning against the counter. "Gerald was not always like this. When we married, he was kind. He opened doors. He wrote me notes." She studies her reflection. "Then the money came, and the money brought standards, and the standards brought rules." "Is that what you tell yourself?" She flinches. "I am asking you, Bridget, woman to woman, let tonight be Paige's night." "I am not the one who put that name card on the table, Diane." Silence. She straightens up, smooths her dress. The softness is gone. The performance clicks back into place like a mask sliding over bone. "I am trying to help you," she says. "No, you are trying to manage me. There is a difference." She leaves. The door swings shut behind her, and I am alone with the marble countertops and the cloth towels folded into fans. I look at my reflection. Navy dress, father's watch, hair that I did myself because I have always done my own hair. Diane has been living in Gerald's shadow so long she thinks it is the light. I walk back to the ballroom. The DJ is playing something slow. Couples are drifting onto the dance floor. Gerald is laughing at something a man in a pinstripe suit said. Paige is radiant, her arm linked through Ethan. My phone vibrates. A text from my managing partner, Marcus. "Congratulations, the promotion is official. We will announce Monday." I read it twice. I close my phone. I put it back in my clutch next to the envelope. 1 hour ago, I was the broke sister. Now I am a senior manager. Nobody in this room knows. 200 people in that ballroom, and not one of them knows what I found in Gerald's office. Not one of them knows what is in my clutch. And not one of them knows what is about to happen when the music stops. If you have ever been the only person in the room who knows the truth, keep watching. This is where it turns, the father-daughter dance. Gerald leads Paige to the center of the floor. The DJ plays a classic, the kind of song that makes mothers cry and fathers stand taller. Gerald holds his daughter like she is made of porcelain, turning her slowly under the chandeliers while 200 guests sigh in unison. I am at table 14. The chairs around me are empty now. My table mates have drifted to the dance floor, the dessert station, the bar. I am alone with a centerpiece and a face-down name card, and the sound of Gerald Whitfield being applauded for being a father. The song ends. Applause. Gerald kisses Paige's forehead and returns to the head table like a general who has just won a minor skirmish. Then someone sits next to me. Ethan. Bow tie loosened, sleeves still rolled from the cocktail hour. He smells like champagne and anxiety. "Hey, you okay?" "I am fine." "You are not fine, I saw the card." I turn to look at him. "You saw it." "I saw it before you did." He is not whispering, but his voice is tight. "Paige told me last night around 2:00 in the morning. She said her dad had them made special." He pauses. I almost called the whole thing off. The room feels smaller. "You knew since last night?" "Since 2:00 in the morning. I did not sleep." I close my eyes for a moment. My little brother, 24 years old, sitting in a tuxedo that costs more than the couch I slept on for 6 years, telling me he almost canceled his wedding because someone insulted me. He sits next to me like we are back on that couch, the one where I used to read him Harry Potter until he fell asleep. "Paige begged me not to cancel," Ethan says. "She said Gerald just wanted to make a point, that it would blow over." "And you believed her." "I believed she was terrified of her father." He straightens in the chair. "I know what that looks like, Bridge. I remember what it looked like when the caseworker came, when you were scared but you signed anyway." I do not correct him. He is right. "So I made Paige a promise." He says, "If Gerald does one more thing tonight, one more thing, I am standing up in front of everyone." "Ethan, it is your wedding day. Do not do anything you will regret." The only thing I would regret is letting you walk out of here alone. The string quartet starts again, something by Vivaldi. Around us, people are dancing, drinking, posing for the photographer, the normal machinery of a beautiful wedding. And here we are at the back table plotting a confrontation like two soldiers reviewing a map. He did it to Lorraine, too, I say. Ethan looks at me. What? 1995. Same handwriting, same card stock. She married a teacher. Gerald made a name card that said, "The teacher who married down." That is his sister. Yes. Ethan sits back. He is quiet for a long time. When he speaks, his voice sounds like our father. He's never going to stop, is he? No. Then I need you to show me what you have. I reach into my clutch. I pull out the manila envelope. I hold it on my lap. Not here, I say. The garden, 5 minutes. He nods. He stands. He buttons his jacket. He walks toward the head table to say something to Paige. I cannot hear what. And then he turns toward the garden doors. I follow. But before we reach the garden, Gerald takes the microphone again. This is unusual. The father of the bride has already given his toast. The DJ has already transitioned to dancing, but Gerald is Gerald. And when Gerald wants a microphone, he gets one. One more thing, he says, and the room pivots. He stands at the center of the head table, Prosecco in hand, looking out over 200 faces like a man surveying property he owns. I want to acknowledge Ethan's family situation. My hand tightens on the envelope. Not everyone has the advantages my daughter had. Not everyone grows up with a stable home, with resources, with a name that opens doors. He lets the silence build. He is a man who understands timing the way I understand balance sheets instinctively. But Ethan pulled himself up by himself, through hard work, through talent, through determination. He did not need a safety net. He did not need anyone to carry him. He turns to Paige, raises his glass, and now he has a real family. The word real detonates quietly. I feel it in my teeth. 200 glasses rise. The room applauds. Gerald smiles, the smile of a man who has never been contradicted in his own house. Ethan is standing near the garden doors. He does not raise his glass. His eyes find mine across the room. My father's watch presses into my wrist. By himself. Gerald said it like a fact. Like 13 years of canned soup, night classes, guardianship hearings, and sleeping on a couch while a child grew up in the next room were things that happened in a vacuum. By himself, he erased me. In front of 200 people with 3 syllables, he erased 13 years. Ethan is already walking toward the garden. The garden is quiet. String lights overhead, gravel path underfoot, the ballroom music a low pulse through the walls. The air smells like jasmine and mowed grass and something ending. I stand facing Ethan. The manila envelope is in my hands. I could walk up to that microphone right now, I say. I could open this envelope, read my CPA license number, show the promotion letter, tell every person in that room that the broke sister they are laughing at just got promoted to senior manager at one of the largest accounting firms in this state. Ethan waits. But that is not who I am. That is not what Dad taught me. The Timex ticks against my wrist. Somewhere inside, the bass line of a dance song thumps through the floor. I am not going to make a scene, but I am not going to be erased. What you do with this information is your choice. I hold out the envelope. You do not have to open it in front of anyone. You do not have to say a word, but you should know what is in here because your father-in-law has spent the last year trying to convince the world that I am nothing, and I am not nothing. Takes the envelope. He looks at me the way he looked at me the night I signed the guardianship papers, like I am the only solid thing in a room that is tilting. I did not raise him so he could watch me be humiliated. I say, and I mean it, every word. You are not going to watch me be humiliated either, he says. He turns toward the ballroom doors. Ethan, think about this. I have thought about it for 13 years. The doors to the ballroom open. The music is still playing. Ethan stops in the garden alcove, a stone bench surrounded by boxwood hedges halfway between the ballroom and the parking lot. He opens the manila envelope. He reads the CPA license first, runs his thumb over the state seal, sets it aside. The promotion letter next. His eyes move across the words. Senior Manager Morrison and Klein. Effective June 1st. base salary, benefits. The paragraph about exceptional contributions to client relationships. He looks up. You did not tell me about this. I was going to after the wedding. He picks up the commendation letter, reads it silently. The client who wrote it called me the most thorough and principled analyst I have worked with in 23 years. Ethan's lips move as he reads that part. Then I show him my phone, the photo from Gerald's office, the test print in the printer tray, the handwritten note. Use the same font as the others. She will think it is from the planner. Ethan reads the note 3 times. His face moves through stages. Surprise, then anger, then something harder and quieter than anger. Resolve. He planned this, Ethan says. He actually sat down and planned to humiliate you at my wedding. I am not asking you to do anything. I am showing you who you married into. Ethan puts the documents back in the envelope. He holds it in both hands like something fragile and heavy at the same time. No, he says, you are showing me who raised me. He stands, he buttons his jacket, he tucks the envelope under his arm. I am going back in there. Ethan, think about this. I have thought about it for 13 years. The doors to the ballroom open. The music is still playing. 200 people are still dancing. Not for long, we walk back into the ballroom together. Shoulder to shoulder, his tuxedo, my navy dress, the boy I raised, and the woman who raised him. Crossing a marble floor that was never supposed to hold both of us at the same time. Gerald sees us first. He is mid-conversation with 2 men in matching silk ties when his eyes track our path from the garden doors to the center of the room. His smile does not disappear. It recalibrates. He reads rooms the way I read financial statements. And something in this room has changed. Paige sees us next. She is at the head table, champagne flute in hand, and she lowers it slowly when she sees Ethan's face. She knows. I can tell by the way her fingers tighten around the stem. Lorraine from across the room catches my eye. A small nod, not a signal, a statement. I am here. Ethan walks to the DJ booth. He speaks to the DJ. The music fades. The DJ leans into his microphone. The groom would like to say a few words. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. This was not on the program. Gerald's smile tightens. He sets down his glass and straightens his jacket. A reflex, the armor going on, Ethan walks to the microphone stand at the edge of the dance floor. He adjusts it, looks out at 200 faces. The manila envelope is in his left hand. I stand near the garden doors, 15 FT from the exit. My clutch is empty now. The envelope is with Ethan. My phone is in my dress pocket. And the only thing left inside is a pack of tissues. I hope I will not need it. 200 people turn toward the microphone. Gerald reaches for his water glass. His hand is shaking. I was not planning to speak again tonight, Ethan says. His voice is steady, the same steadiness our father had, the kind that comes from having nothing left to lose. But something happened that I cannot ignore. The room is quiet. The kind of quiet that happens when 200 people stop breathing at the same time. My father-in-law said something during his toast that I need to correct. He said I pulled myself up by myself. Gerald shifts in his chair. Diane reaches for his arm. He shakes her off. That is not true. Ethan pauses. I watch his throat move. He swallows once. When I was 11 years old, my father died. My mother was already gone. She left when my sister was 7. The state of North Carolina wanted to put me in foster care. One person stopped that. He turns toward table 14. Every head in the room follows. One person signed guardianship papers at 19 years old, dropped out of college, worked 2 jobs, day shift at a plumbing supply office, evenings tutoring math so I could stay in school and sleep in a real bed. She took the couch. For 6 years, she slept on a couch so I could have the bedroom. The room is not breathing. That person is sitting at table 14, closest to the kitchen doors. He holds up the name card, ivory card stock, calligraphy font. This is what was at her place setting tonight. He reads it aloud, every syllable clear, every word deliberate, his voice carrying to the back of the room and bouncing off the marble. Poor broke sister living off her brother. The gasps are not polite. They are real. A woman at table 6 covers her mouth. A man at table 9 leans forward. Someone behind me whispers, no, and means it. Gerald's face drains. The color leaves from his forehead down like a tide going out. Ethan opens the manila envelope. He pulls out the first document and holds it up. This is my sister's CPA license issued by the North Carolina State Board of Certified Public Accountants. He sets it on the nearest table. A guest picks it up, reads it, passes it to the woman next to her. This is her employee badge at Morrison & Klein, the third largest accounting firm in the state. He sets that down, too. It travels. This is a commendation letter from a client whose company she saved from a $2 million audit error. By now, the room has shifted. The laughter from earlier is gone. The guests who chuckled at the name card are looking at their plates. And this, Ethan holds up the last document. This is a promotion letter, effective June 1st. My sister has been promoted to senior manager. He looks at Gerald directly. The way you look at someone you have decided to stop respecting. You said I built myself from nothing. No, I was built by Bridget Fuller. She paid for my school supplies with tip money. She drove me to every college visit in a car with a cracked windshield. She proofread every application I wrote. Gerald stands. Ethan, that is enough. I am not finished. The room holds. Ethan turns fully toward Gerald. His voice drops, but it carries every word. You just made the most expensive mistake of your life. Silence. Because the next time you disrespect my sister, the next time you put a card on a table or make a toast that pretends she does not exist or try to buy me off with a corner office, you lose a son-in-law. Gerald's mouth opens. Nothing comes out. The room erupts, not in applause. Not yet. In noise, murmurs, gasps, the sound of 200 people recalculating everything they thought they knew about the man at the head table. I did not raise him so he could watch me be humiliated. He heard me. He always heard me, Gerald explodes. This is my daughter's wedding, he shouts. The warmth is gone from his voice. What is left is raw and ragged, the voice of a man who has never been contradicted in front of witnesses. I paid for all of this, every flower, every plate, every glass of champagne you are drinking. You do not get to, Gerald. One word from across the room. Lorraine stands. She is holding her phone. The screen is lit. The photo from 1995. You did this to me 30 years ago, she says. Her voice is not loud, but it does not need to be. The room is so quiet. I can hear the ice shifting in someone's water glass. Same card, same handwriting, same ivory card stock. You wrote Gerald's embarrassment, the teacher who married down, and put it at my place setting. Gerald's face goes from red to white. Lorraine, sit down. I have sat down for 30 years. I am done sitting. She holds up her phone. The photo is small, but the people at the nearest tables lean in. They see the handwriting. They see the match. Gerald turns to Diane. Say something. Diane looks at her hands. Her rings catch the chandelier light. She says nothing. Gerald turns to Paige. Tell them this is ridiculous. Paige is crying, not the way a bride cries on her wedding day. Happy tears, champagne tears. She is crying because she is looking at Ethan's face, and she can see it. The door closing. The calculation finishing. The husband she married 12 hours ago deciding what he can and cannot live with. After everything I have done for this family, Gerald starts. Nobody finishes the sentence for him. Nobody rescues him. The man who has spent 30 years controlling every room he enters is standing in the middle of one. And for the first time in his life, the room is not listening. I have not said a word. I am still standing near table 14, watching calm. The room turns to me. I have been silent through all of it. Through Ethan's speech, through the documents, through Gerald's explosion and Lorraine's revelation. I have been standing near table 14 in my navy dress with my father's watch on my wrist, and I have not said a single word. Now I walk forward, not toward Gerald, not toward the microphone, toward Ethan. He is still at the mic stand, the envelope empty in his hand, his eyes bright. I cross the dance floor, 15 ft of Italian marble that suddenly feels like a runway, and I stop beside my brother. He reaches for my hand. His fingers brush the Timex on my wrist. Dad would be proud, he whispers. I turn to the room. 200 faces, some sympathetic, some stunned, some already composing the text messages they will send in the parking lot. I am not going to make a speech, I say. My voice is calm, the calmest it has been all night. I am not going to list my accomplishments because my worth was never in a license or a title or a promotion letter. I pause. My worth is in that man right there. I look at Ethan and he knows it. He has always known it. I walk to table 14. I pick up the name card, the one I placed face up hours ago, the one Diane flipped face down, the one that started all of this. I carry it to the head table. I place it on the tablecloth in front of Gerald Whitfield. Ivory card stock, calligraphy font. Poor broke sister living off her brother. You can keep this, I say. I turn toward the door. Ethan is already beside me. We walk. The walk from the head table to the ballroom doors is 47 steps. I count them because that is what I do. I count things. Ethan is on my left. His hand is on my shoulder, not guiding me, not steering me, just there. The weight of a brother who chose right, behind us. I hear a chair pushed back, heels on marble. I do not turn, but I know Lorraine. 3 people walking out of a 200-person wedding, step 20. The tables on either side are watching. A woman at table 8 is crying. A man at table 3 is nodding slowly, his jaw set. The photographer lowers his camera. Step 30. Someone starts clapping. Just one person somewhere near the middle of the room, then another, then 4 more. It is not thunderous applause. It is scattered, uncertain. The sound of people who are not sure if they are allowed to clap but cannot stop themselves. Step 40. Gerald is sitting down. I catch his reflection in the glass doors as we approach. He is shrinking into his chair, his shoulders pulling inward. The posture of a man who has just discovered that money cannot buy silence when the truth is louder. Step 47. We are through the doors. Outside, the air smells like jasmine and gravel dust. The valet is gone. It is past 11. My Honda Civic is parked between the Mercedes and the Range Rover, and it has never looked better. I am sorry, Bridge, Ethan says. Do not apologize, you chose right. Lorraine steps through the doors behind us. She adjusts her reading glasses. You both did. I unlock the car. Ethan gets in the passenger seat, the same passenger seat where the manila envelope sat 11 days ago. Lorraine slides into the back. I start the engine. I pull out of the Whitfield estate. I do not look in the rearview mirror. 3 people in a Honda Civic. A strange, imperfect, perfect family. Sunday morning, 7:12. Ethan is asleep on my couch. The same couch where I slept for 6 years. He is still in his tuxedo pants, his jacket folded over the arm, his bow tie on the coffee table next to a cold mug of chamomile tea. I make coffee, 2 cups. The way I have made coffee every Sunday morning since he was 12, his with too much cream, mine black. My phone has 47 text messages and 12 missed calls. I scroll through them while the coffee brews. Page, 11 texts, increasingly desperate. Please call me. I did not know he was going to do the speech. Ethan, please. I love you, Diane, 2 texts. This was not necessary. And then 30 minutes later, I am sorry, Gerald, 1 text. You have destroyed my daughter's wedding day. I hope you are proud. Gerald's assistant. 3 missed calls, no voicemails, and then there is the other thing, the photo of my name card. The one someone at table 14 took before I even saw it is making the rounds. A woman named Sheila, who I have never met, posted it in a local community group chat with the caption, "This was at a Whitfield wedding last night. Yes, that Whitfield." I put the phone down, I pour the coffee. I carry both cups to the living room and set one on the table next to Ethan's bow tie. He opens his eyes. "Morning," I say. "Morning." He sits up, takes the coffee, drinks. We sit in the quiet the way we have always sat in the quiet. 2 people who learned a long time ago that silence between family is not empty. It is full. Ethan calls Paige at 9. I am in the kitchen washing dishes. I do not need to be in the room for this, but the apartment is small, so I hear everything. "I love you, Ethan," he says, "but I need you to choose your father's rules or our life." Paige's voice is thin through the speaker. "I told him it was wrong, Ethan. Was wrong, Ethan. I told him before the dinner." "You told him, and then you let it happen." A long pause. I hear Paige breathing. I hear what sounds like a door closing on her end. "I know," she says. "I know I let it happen." Then here is what needs to change. Gerald does not contact me or Bridget until he apologizes. A real apology, not a toast, not a press release, and we go to counseling, you and me, starting this week. Okay. Okay is not enough. I need you to mean it. I mean it. By Monday morning, the ripples have reached Gerald's work. 2 business associates cancel scheduled meetings. No explanation, just calendar changes. His country club foursome partner calls to say he will not make Thursday's game. Lorraine's Facebook post goes up at noon. The 1995 name card photo side by side with a description of what happened at the wedding. Caption, 30 years later, same handwriting. By Tuesday, it has been shared 112 times. Diane calls me on Wednesday. I know you will not believe me, but I am sorry. Thank you, Diane, but sorry does not mean anything until it changes something. She does not argue. She hangs up. 1 week later, I sign my promotion letter. Senior manager, Morrison and Klein. My managing partner, Marcus, shakes my hand and says, "You earned this 3 years ago. We are just finally catching up." Ethan and Paige start couples counseling. She chose Ethan. She told Gerald to stay away until he apologizes. He is not. Every Sunday morning, Ethan comes to my apartment. He sits on the couch. I make coffee, his with too much cream, mine black. Sometimes we talk about work, about architecture, about a recipe he is trying. Sometimes we do not talk at all. The Timex sits on my wrist. The crystal is scratched. The band is soft. It keeps perfect time. I did not go to that wedding to fight. I went because I raised a good man and I wanted to see him happy. What I got instead was something I did not expect. Proof that my worth was never in question. It was always Gerald who was broke. That is my story. 1 name card. 13 years of raising a brother who chose right. And a room full of people who finally saw the truth. If someone ever tries to write your name wrong, stand up. You know who you are. Drop a comment, hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.